How's it going, guys? Welcome to Cake Comments. This is my second video. Today's topic, I want to talk about multiplayer games and are multiplayer games ruining the video games industry. Okay, so this is quite a hot topic at the moment. A lot of video game companies and producers, especially EA, are releasing video games, and all video games that they're releasing at the moment have to have some kind of multiplayer element. In fact, the CEO of EA, he won't even sign off for any games to be developed unless they have some multiplayer element to the game. This was the case with Mass Effect 3. Mass Effect has never been a multiplayer video game series. 1 and 2 didn't have multiplayer. Now, credit, that multiplayer was good and it was enjoyable, but unfortunately not all multiplayer is like that. That's the issue I have with it. I have played multiplayer and sometimes I do like playing multiplayer. For example, I really enjoyed playing Titanfall, Killzone Shadowfall. I really enjoyed Splinter Cell Blacklist multiplayer. That was very enjoyable. But, you know, it's not always done well, and sometimes the fact that you have to include a multiplayer element into a game can actually spoil or affect the single player campaign. Sometimes the multiplayer, there just isn't enough time or effort spent into it to make it a good playing experience. For example, Tomb Raider. The single player story in Tomb Raider was amazing, but the multiplayer in Tomb Raider was shit. You couldn't find lobbies. It would crash on you regularly. The actual mechanics, like the weapons that you could use, were generic, sort of. You know, even the kind of gameplay modes were very generic, like, you know, team deathmatch, capture the flag, those sorts of things. These are all very generic kind of multiplayer elements. So there was even a bug which affected some gameplayers where they lost all of their experience and unlocks in multiplayer and had to restart the entire thing again because there were glitches in the multiplayer. This is terrible. My concern right now with the video games industry is that there is this push towards multiplayer gaming, and the simple reason for that is because it's all about money, because big companies like EA, like Ubisoft, can make tons of cash on microtransaction DLC packs and giving you less content for your money than they would have done previously had it just been a single player campaign. And that's very, very worrying for me, because the way the video games industry is going is it's more about cash than it is about the art. And what we're finding right now is a lot of games are being rushed in production and are being released with bugs and glitches. For example, the new Batman Arkham Origins, when that game came out, it had so many bugs and glitches in the single player campaign, and I feel one of the reasons for that is because there was time and effort wasted developing a multiplayer element to the game, that there wasn't enough manpower, money, resources being invested into the single player campaign to make sure that when that game was released it was bug free, glitch free, in the best possible playing condition that it could be. And the multiplayer game for Batman Arkham Origins itself was rubbish. The actual controls of the gang members were really kind of slow and a bit stocky. It was really hard again to fill a lobby and to find people to play with. It would sometimes kick you out, you would lose connection. That's what's really frustrating. I don't think we should get rid of multiplayer games completely. I think there is a portion of the video games community that buy games just for the multiplayer. There are gamers out there that like that competitiveness, that like to get, you know, the most kills or headshots or kill streaks in a game, and they like that competition, they like that sense of achievement that they get from that, you know. And there are a lot of gamers that thrive on that, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think that is a part of the video game community that is important and that does exist. But what I think should happen is that single player games and multiplayer games should become separate. That's what I think should happen. So rather than forcing a multiplayer on a gamer that is only interested in single player campaign, single player story and experience, or rather than forcing a single player on a gamer that only wants to play the multiplayer, like the Call of Duty games, for example, the single player campaigns in those games may as well not be there. They're so short. They're about 4 hours long. They're not great stories or campaigns or characters. I think they should be separated. That way, those developers that are story-based, character-based development teams, like BioWare for example, can just focus on that single player story and making sure that that game is as fully polished, as well-rounded as it possibly could be. Just like I think multiplayer games like Call of Duty, Titanfall should only be multiplayer games. Titanfall pretty much, it doesn't have a single player story. Okay, it says it does, it has a campaign, but really it doesn't. It's just like you're playing multiplayer, effectively. They just labeled it single player campaign. And I think that's fine, if that's what you're going to do, if that's what you're marketing. If you are directly honest with people and say, yep, it's just a multiplayer game, yep, it's just a single player game, that's fine. I do think that multiplayer games, if you did release just a multiplayer game, I think it should be cheaper, because it does take less time to develop that game, and you tend to find with a lot of multiplayer games there are a lot of extra expenses in terms of microtransactions, buying extra content like weapons, skins, maps, those kinds of things that are added on to the experience. And I think when the game comes out initially, it should be at a reduced price, and I think single player games are fine to be at a full price because there's a lot of effort and time gone into that production. So that's what I think for the video games industry. I think that single player and multiplayer should become split. That's my opinion. Alright, so I'm very interested to hear what you think about multiplayer games. Do you think it is destroying the video game industry by taking away time, money and resources to develop that single player campaign, and it's one of the reasons why many games are being released with glitches? Or do you think there are different reasons for that? Are you a supporter of multiplayer games, and what is your opinion on splitting single player and multiplayer games? Alright, please let me know what you think about multiplayer gaming as a whole in the comments below. If you enjoyed this opinion-based video, please hit that like button to show your support, and if you want to see more videos like this, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel so you can get the latest information, and you can find out when I upload new videos, which I try and do regularly. Alright, have a great day guys and girls, and I will catch you later. Bye! Yeah.